Hi everyone, my name is Tracy Fields and I'm the children's pastor at Greg Drive Alliance Church here in Chatham. I have the privilege of working with Greg, and he's asked me to take just a couple of minutes to talk about how we as a church are investing in our kids to become disciples for Jesus. See, churches have done a really good job at teaching kids about Jesus and about God's Word. For the most part, the focus is often on simple biblical truths and basic Bible stories. That's all good stuff, and it's an essential part of raising spiritual champions. But unless we give focus to transformational discipleship, all we're creating is kids who know a lot about the Bible. See, the key to creating disciples in any context is relationships, and kids are no different. We can teach them all we want about Jesus and His grace, His mercy, His forgiveness, and the power of His name. But when a child not only hears these truths, but sees it lived out, there will be a greater chance that they'll receive the transformational power of Jesus themselves. And in turn, they begin to learn by following godly examples that discipling others is just a natural thing in the Christian journey. It's exactly what Jesus did. He taught and then He modeled. So the question is, how do we as church leaders and children's pastors change our own ministry to be transformational for children, but also a starting point for kids to be transformed? The first thing we do is easy, or is it? We need to lead a transformed life ourselves. We need to develop a deep prayer life and a new love for God's Word. Second, look at your ministry and see where the balance lies between the tasks you do each week compared to the relationships that you're investing in. See, tasks are important, especially with kids. They need a lot of structure and a lot of pre-planning. But if there are so many things to do that you don't have time to build relationships with your leaders, then it's time to reevaluate. Over this past year, the Lord has been showing me that even in my own ministry, although we do a lot of things and it's all good stuff, I haven't really had the time to invest in my leaders, so we're completely revamping how we do ministry to make relationships a priority. And I'm seeing that shift happen in my team because they no longer see me as the pastor or the leader who's above them trying to lead a team, but rather a shepherd who is walking along beside them. And even with the subtle changes began to happen, it's made a huge difference. Third, train your leaders to invest in their kids. See, each child who attends Sunday school or kids' church, they come from their own unique background, family dynamic, school situation, and learning style. So teach your team to meet the needs of each individual child who attends that week. Because a kid whose parents is going through a divorce, for example, they need a godly person to come along beside them and extend the relationship of that kid beyond the Sunday morning hour. See, discipleship doesn't begin at 10 a.m. and end at 11. It's an investment into the lives of those that God has put into our path. So in this case, it's in the kids in the class. Keeping class sizes small will also definitely help, but modeling that for your teachers and then asking them to do the same is certainly worth the investment of your own time. Lastly, don't forget the parents. Over the past few years in talking with parents, it's become very common to hear how their heart's desire is to disciple their own kids, but they just don't know how to because many times they didn't experience that themselves from their own parents. They feel inadequate and unprepared. So equipping mom and dad is the single greatest opportunity for discipleship that we have. This is another change we're making in our own children's ministry at our church. See, a month ago, we introduced a Bible reading challenge for the kids to do at home. It's called the Eat This Book Challenge. And it not only encourages the kids to develop a daily devotional life, but it's a tool that parents can use to begin discipling their kids at home. It engages the kids and the parents and the entire family unit as a whole. We're only a month into it, but the kids have been super excited about it, and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from parents that they're learning a lot about the Bible and God's Word themselves, but there's also this new excitement in their home over God's Word. See, Deuteronomy was the best instruction for us on how to disciple children. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. This is living the transformed life yourself. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. See, Jesus should be woven into the fabric of your very being, and in that, He will be woven into every part of your daily living and conversation. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. Others will know you're a Christ follower simply by how you live. And if you're intentional about bringing others alongside to model as how a Christ follower lives, well, that's discipleship. You know, discipleship isn't a new concept, and even Jesus modeled it for himself. But sometimes we think we need to do things differently for children than we do for adults, and really we don't. We just need to do it in an age-appropriate way. The best investment of your time and your energy goes into investing in relationships with people, and that includes children. If we can show a child that they are valued by God simply because we value them ourselves in God's name, then that's going to last with them a lifetime. So when you have a discussion about discipleship and we start to put plans together for churches, please don't forget to include the kids. If we teach them early that being discipled by someone else and discipling someone else is a part of the Christian journey when they're young, they will not depart from it when they're old. Just think of the possibilities of what a child can multiply over the course of their entire lifetime if they start at a young age. It's all about kingdom building, and kids can kingdom build too. Thanks for hearing my take on discipleship in children's ministry.